Hey everybody, Paul from Better Chess, and this is the Washington Class Piper Memorial Adult Swiss Round 1. I took some time to actually register for this tournament. I've said so many times on my blog and on this channel, the only way to get really good at chess is to play, and to play often. So I always make excuses not to go into a tournament. This time I put my money where my mouth was. I paid the fee a day before the tournament, and round 1 I am playing the well-known Pacific Northwest legend Victor's Pupils. I actually beat him a couple of years ago with the white pieces, but now I'm black, and it's probably going to be a tougher game for me to try and win. So let's get right into it. Round 1 here in Redmond at the Marriott Hotel. I'm black, and Victor starts off with his traditional d4. He plays that quite a bit. I respond d5, knight f3, knight f6. This is a very traditional kind of ready opening. That doesn't really follow any major opening theory that I'm aware of anyway. So this is very symmetrical so far, nothing to really note at the time. He plays c3. Again, he's playing someone who is lower rated than him, so he's trying to take me out of any theory I might know. I'm pretty sure of that. And that's going to be pretty easy since I don't know much theory at this point anyway, so I just try and make developing moves, right? I play g6. He plays e3. It's very Stonewall-ish looking. See what those three... This is usually the indicative of the Stonewall with these 3 pawns, the way they're configured. So bishop 7, bishop d3, knight bd7. There were probably better moves like c5 immediately. Generally, when you're playing in the Queen's Gambit declined or these types of positions, whether it be a Queen's Pawn opening, c5 is very thematic because you want to challenge the center right away. But I'm playing a 2200 here, minimum. In fact, during the tournament, I asked him when was his first tournament in Seattle, and he said 1953. So that gives you an idea of how experienced he is. Well before I was born. So knight bd7, knight bd2. These are just developing move, castle, castle. There's nothing really to talk about here. Now I should probably again try c5. This makes some sense. But in all of my games, I always try to maximize my development where I can. So I squeeze out rook e8, even though c5 would have been better. Just let's get everything developed at least a square. He plays c4 here. Not terrible, although I thought e4 was a better move. On e4 I can play or I can play e5 myself, and it gets to be kind of a interesting game. But c4, okay. And I guess he wants me to take so he can get the center with him playing e4. I think about this a while, and then I should probably just play e5 here to really make things as difficult as possible. But I play the move I didn't play earlier, which is c5. So we have a lot of tension in the center. Players can take different directions. It's just equal, though, to be very fair, right? There's no major advantage either way. But white has the first move, so it's incumbent upon him to try and find out, a way to win this or get an advantage. So c5 is reasonable. He plays b3. He's just trying to get his bishop probably either to b2 or a3. But again, these are odd moves. Not wrong. I mean, probably taking in the center makes some sense. But okay, b3. I'm not going to challenge that. So I might have a slight of an advantage simply because of the fact he's playing so slowly. And then I decided, I really got to heat this up. Playing b3 immediately made me think of this. This long diagonal. Kind of harkens back to what Jeremy Silman used to say in How to Reassess Your Chess. If you haven't read that book, you should definitely pick it up. And he always says, don't calculate moves right away. Think about dream positions you'd like to have, and then make moves to make them happen. And this is sort of like that. I just want to be able to attack the long diagonal. So I play e5. Like, let's really put pressure on this diagonal. And I'm also threatening e4. So he has to do something here. And he does. He takes. And now again, I want to maximize my pieces. This diagonal is still looking at me. How am I going to maximize this to create some pressure, right? Taking is okay, but let me take with some tempo. And then I play the best move in the position here, which is knight g4. More pressure. And he can't stack his pawn by playing e6 or something because he hangs his rook. So now he plays bishop b2, which is fair. I take back with the d knight. I don't think it really matters which knight, but even Stockfish likes this move. And now he's got to be careful, because if I take with check, he might lose his bishop. So he takes, a lot of captures, takes. Now I'm hitting his d3 bishop. So he's, again, there's already, I think I have the initiative, even though the game is pretty much equal. And after some thinking, he plays his bishop back to e2, which is a bit of a mistake. It's kind of passive. What he should have probably done is just take the knight, frankly. Just take. Rook c1. Yeah, I have the bishop here, but it's really not, it's negligible, and there's not much of an advantage. d4, sure. The game is just equal. But so b3, again, e5 takes. Captures. He plays bishop e2 to get out of the way. And now I feel I need to keep the initiative here. I don't want to play passively. Yes, I want to develop my bishop and my idle rook, but not yet. The time is take center space, and I do. d4, best move. He takes, I take back. Now I'm threatening d3, and he's got some problems to deal with, right? So then he plays, I thought he was going to play something like bishop f3 and get rid of the bishop and just kind of go from there. But he plays f4. A really strange move. And this is this is a move in the position where I really start to lose the thread, and I do this often in my games. Sometimes when you're on the attack, you have to make a retreating move. You just have to. And that's not something I have the appetite for in this game. The correct move in this position, without getting into too much detail, just knight c6, go back, and that's it. But instead, I play the move d3, which I was very proud of when I played this. I felt, oh man, this is great. He'll never see this. This is a huge move. But in fact, it's not that strong. It doesn't. I mean, it's not losing, but it kind of loses all my advantage, right? And gives him an advantage. All he had to really do here is take with the pawn. I take, he takes back, and that's really it. Now, if you're thinking I'm winning the pawn on e5, you're wrong. Watch. Bishop takes e5. I won a pawn, right? He's busted. Takes. And I play f6 to try and trap him or something, and then all of a sudden, I'm getting in trouble because if I capture, even with rook e5, he captures back, and I'm in. I don't have any real advantage. And if I take this way, he has knight e4, and he's just powering in on all my squares. So it looks like I might have won a pawn there, but it wasn't as simple as that. So anyway, d3, question mark. And he plays the wrong move here. He should have just taken with the pawn, and everything would have been equal. He takes with the bishop, which is losing immediately, because now I just take on e2, right? He has to capture. He can't take the bishop now because his queen is hanging. He takes. I play f6. The bishop is trapped. He plays, knight f3 to try and protect it, but the pin is still on. And now I take the time to develop my pieces because I have a lot of time to do this. He plays queen e4, and he's hitting the b7 pawn to try and get some compensation for the piece he's about to lose. I won't allow it. I'll take first. He'll recapture. I'll play queen b6 check to protect the b7 pawn and push his king in the corner. He plays the king into h1. Now I capture. He takes back. I take with the rook, the correct move. He plays a quick courtesy check, queen f7. I move to the corner. He plays c5, try and get some activity. I take with the rook. He's just lost now. He's just down a full piece, right? There's not really much to look at. However, he's playing someone who's lower rated than him, and he wants to make sure that I earn the win, right? And I get that. So anyway, he starts rook ae1, and this is what he has to do, right? Get the initiative going. And I got to be careful, because rook e8 is in the air here. So I calculate, how do I stop this? And the right way, and I make the correct move, is rook e5. Right? Forcing trades. I have the long diagonal, so he can't check me. Then he plays rook to e1. And now I'm just going to continue to defend. I'm going to play a move like queen c7, hitting the h2 pawn, by the way, which, among other things, he's just in trouble. So he captures. He trades. He tries to play, rook e7 to try to win maybe the b7 pawn. I won't allow that. I just defend the bishop. Right. And he plays g3 to kind of protect that loose h pawn. And then I just play, b5. The idea, I'm going to play bishop b6 and be up a full piece with a very nice winning position. So, b5, he plays a king closer. I play bishop b6. And really, at this point, it's resignable. However, Victor's does not resign. And again, this goes back to the rating difference. And he wants to make sure that a player of my ELO, roughly 1900, can mate me in the ending. Because a lot of 1900s, and I've had this myself, where I play on a little bit and they either blow their win or they force a stalemate. So that's what he's aiming for right now. So I'm going to go through the rest of the game a little more quickly just to show you what happens and spare a lot of the variations. Let's see what happens. So he goes rook e2 to prevent me from checking on c2, and I just, cutting off the king was the first thing I wanted to do. Rook f8. Just don't let the king out at all. He moves his h4 pawn. It's fine. King g7. I'm just trying to calmly just stopping any counterplay he may want to be having, slowly stopping any counterplay again. He keeps shuttling on the back rank and basically saying to me, "Okay, you want to win? You have to mate me. Come and get me." So rook c7. Let's trade. He says no, thank you. And then I play a pretty good move here. I was kind of proud of. I often don't play these kinds of moves. I played b4. And the reason for this is to lock down the queenside pawns as much as I can. I mean, obviously, he's in no danger of making a comeback here. But nevertheless, I have a full advantage. I want to squeeze him for every ounce I can get. So b4 restrains the remaining queenside pawns. That's done. Okay, next. He plays g4. I just take. There's no reason not to. I mean, for sure. He starts moving his king up to capture. I hit him with rook c3 check. He takes. And now I'm thinking I have a mate possibility here, right? If I play bishop c7, which is what I played, rook g3 is mate. What's he going to do? He plays the only move he can play, which is rook g2. And then I think about this a little bit, and I'm like, all right, let me just do kind of a creepy crawly thing here and slowly walk in here. So I play rook d3. Because his rook really can't move. It's hard off of this file because he's going to get mated. And then Victor's makes a real blunder here. He plays h5. And as soon as he played this, I thought to myself, wait a second. I have a winning ending here. You want to pause the video. Let's see what's the winning move here. It's the tactical move. And then come back. Well, the move here is actually rook g3 check. Forcing trades, right? So takes. He captures the pawn, right? Knowing that he can't let it go because I'm just going to grab all his pawns, right? So he realizes that if he takes, I'm just going to capture, be up a passed pawn and run my king to the king side, to the queen side to grab his other pawns. So he sees this and he says, I'm going to try and do what I can to keep the game going. So hg6. looking at the board upside down here. I just move my bishop back. Now I'm fully winning a piece up. But again, he is not going to resign. He's going to force the matter and see, can I mate him with, you know, a minor piece and 2 pawns? Let's see. Okay, so I reckon that, you know, bishop d8, you know, I'm going to try and cut off all his squares. He can't move now. He has to move the king away. I capture the pawn. He's trying to get after these loose pawns, but they're not really loose, right? I just kind of continue to triangulate on his king and create the opposition so he can't come backward. King c4. Well, I just play a5. Yeah, he's trying again to do what, you know, and I'm just going to keep moving forward. He can't do much. Bishop b6, cutting off the dark squares, right? So he can't come back. So I go, he goes to, you know, d3, and I have the opposition. King d2. Get closer. Right? This is just king c2. I just play bishop c7, kind of a waiting move. Plays back. King d3 is probably the strongest, but I play king c3 would work too, but I play king d3. Sorry, I play king c3. King d3 is a little stronger, and the reason why is it just cuts off the light squares, whereas the bishop could take care of the dark squares. It's a technicality, but it still wins. Okay, so now he's shuttling his pieces. He has really not much he can do. So he plays back to, you know, king b1 on the back rank. I play, you know, bishop f4, and again, I got to be careful. I want to make sure that I don't stalemate this person, right? So he goes to the corner. King c2, realizing he has to move a pawn. There's no choice in the matter, and he does. And there's a lot of ways I can win this. I can play a4 and win, which is kind of cute, but I don't. I just take the b3 pawn, takes, I push, about to queen, he pushes, and as you can see, he's about to get mated. He can't stop it. All right, so he resigned. The game would continue something like b6, a2, b7, and then I just made him. That would be the end. So that was game 1. I felt good. Victor has made a blunder, and I played relatively accurately, though I think my technique on the attack can be improved. But round 1 out of the way, now it's on to round 2 in the next video. Thank you for watching.